välkomna till PowerGamer.se. Jag heter Anders Sandberg och jag har stuckit över en sväng till Stockholm idag för att testa på lite Deus Ex Mandkind Divided. And I'm here with whom?
Jean-Francois Dugas. I'm the executive game director on the franchise, and I'm also the game director on Mandkind Divided.
And for how long have you been a part of the Deus Ex family?
For over 9 years now.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you're an experienced veteran in the area.
Yes. We started the Human Revolution in 2007, like in the spring of 2007, and we've been working on it, on this franchise since then.
And you nice choice of word. You said franchise because you started the presentation with showing like not just the games but an entire lineup of the Deus Ex universe, as you called it, where you have like lots of extra material. You have books, you have guides, you have clothing lines. I mean, there is like a universe, so to speak. And for how long have you been trying to expand from the game universe to making it like reality?
We've been working on it for a long time. Actually, it started when we were working on Human Revolution. We wanted to explore other ideas. Like we had a book called Curse Effect, which was telling a story about some of the characters that you would meet in the game, but that is happening before the game, like 6 months before the game or something like that. We also had some graphic novel back in the day. We had also clothing, stuff like that, and it's something that we wanted to continue to do with Mandkind Divided, but we really wanted to push it a little bit further, like with the partnership we have with Open Bionics.
That was really interesting.
Yeah.
Please tell us more about that.
Yeah, it's actually it's a company that does prosthetics for people who need them and everything, and we partner with them to create Vengeance and arms. And we're going actually to release the blueprints on how to build those arms for kids, for women, for men. And for us, it's a very good way to bridge the gap between the fiction and bringing it into the reality, because the way we always talk about Deus Ex is that it's a window to the future. We're always trying to be relevant and talk about things that happens either today or they're going to happen tomorrow. And now when you see companies like that are building such prosthetics and now partnering with us and creating one based on our main character, it's kind of uncanny, it's kind of weird, weird in a good way. Now it feels like Deus Ex belongs to the real world, it's not just fantasy anymore.
I have to agree with you there. I also think it's extremely cool that you managed to like build a bridge between the reality and the gaming franchise.
Yes.
But this is the year of Mandkind Divided, and I'm sure a lot of people at home watching this are really looking forward to it. What are the major improvements that you have made from Human Revolution and implemented to Mandkind Divided?
Right. Well, Mandkind Divided is a direct sequel to Human Revolution, so our goal was to have this new installment fit in the continuity of the last game. So we were trying to make you feel when you play it, okay, it's Deus Ex that I know, but we wanted to infuse a lot of novelties. Yes, it's the Deus Ex I know, but it's a new Deus Ex at the same time. Like, it's that fine line between too much novelty that it doesn't feel like the last game, or not enough that it feels the same game. So this one, it's a totally new experience and it feels new, but at the same time it feels familiar. So it was kind of the balance we were trying to strive for. We did improvements in many areas.
Bosses? Boss fights,
Bosses?
perhaps? I noticed it was one of the aspects of Human Revolution that took a lot of negative critics.
I never heard them. Like, were they bad? Really? Yes, we know that. We know that they were I would say disappointing. Let's put it this way. And if you play the DLC, the Missing Link, the boss fight was totally in line with the rest of the experience. When we released the director's cut of Human Revolution, we also addressed the issue. And definitely for Mankind Divided, it's not an issue anymore. And even back in the day with the original bosses, it's just that we couldn't fulfill our vision the way we wanted because we had some production challenges that we had to navigate around them and everything, and we had to do some compromises. But we, even before Chip, we were fully aware that they were not consistent. But it was like sometimes you don't choose between the good and the bad choice. You just choose between two bad choices, and that's what happened. So no, that is solved. We're good. It's covered. We also focus on the combat experience to make it more, I would say, more on par with the stealth experience, because a lot of fans were saying, yeah, the stealth way of playing feels really satisfying, but combat can be a little bit lackluster in general and everything. So our goal, we're not a shooter, we're an action RPG, so we're blending a lot of things together, but our goal was to bring the action at least on the same satisfying level as stealth. We of course now have more augmentations that are supported in combat. We have the Titan Shield, that is a kind of a protection mechanism that really turns you into a tank, and you can absorb a lot of damage without dying and everything. So it allows you to take more risks, things like that. We have the focus augmentation that makes you way faster than the enemies, and it gives you the second you need to shoot them before they react. We also have the Icarus Dash that allows you to dash super fast from one end to another, or you can run dash in people. We have now the gun arms that have some lethal and non-lethal capacities. And what is cool is the fact that now you can use them very quickly with the shoulder button or the D-pad, and that's another part. We also designed the control scheme to be more on par with modern shooter games, and at the same time addressing the fact that now you can use your augmentations on the fly without constantly having to go into a selection wheel to activate them. We also improve also on the enemies in terms of the augmentations they can use themselves, so they have more variety of tricks in their sleeve, and therefore they use a lot of the things that you as a player you can use. So it changes the battlefield, the fact that now there's verticality, there's more way enemies can come from higher or lower. It creates a more dynamic experience. We also have the fact that the environments are more reactive in terms of particle effects and things like that. So when the bullets are flying by, you feel more like that they're hitting stuff around you and everything. So it's plenty of little things like that that we did for combat. And then in terms of narrative, in terms of the story experience.
Yeah, tell us about the premise. It's 2 years after Human Revolution.
Yes, it's 2 years after the events of Human Revolution, and without spoiling too much, if you never played Human Revolution and you intend to do it, there's a big event that happens at the end of the game which puts augmented people under a bad light. Like now suddenly it's a big 9/11 moment kind of thing, and now the society is recovering from that event where millions of people died, and we're 2 years after. Now there are laws that prevents augmented people to go into certain places, or to be they have to be concealed in certain districts, or if their papers are not in order, or they didn't pay their Visa card, they're going to go into some of the ghettos in the world, etc. So it's a world where Adam Jensen needs to make a difference. Now he works for an organization called Task Force 29, which is a subdivision of Interpol, and their role is to try to calm the tension between the naturals and the augmented citizens, because now there's a lot of attacks on both sides and everything. And so since he couldn't save the world the first time around, at least he tries to make a difference with what he's doing. But he has a double agenda. He's still chasing the people in the shadows, the people who are trying to manipulate society in a direction or another. And he's sure that those are the people responsible for everything that is happening. And he believes that Task Force 29 as some of the key people are directly connected to those people in the shadows, and that's why he hopes he can get at them through that organization. So he tries to hit two birds with one stone.
I think it's kind of fascinating because, of course, it's a AAA game. Everybody knows this, but it seems that a lot of the story elements are actually and sadly found in reality. As of today, there are many conflicts all over the world.
Yep.
Is this something that you, like during development, took a lot of like inspiration from?
Well, if you look at the last 2 years in the real world, there's been a lot of dramas and a lot of bad things happening, but Mandkind Divided started way before that. So it's kind of a coincidence that these things happen at the same time. But for us, our main source of inspiration stems from human revolution, in the sense that transhumanism is our main theme. And in the last game, we were kind of exploring more the fundamentals of transhumanism, what it means to be human, and all the possibilities you have. And segregation and that darker world was already there, but was really taking the back seat because we were more into exploring transhumanism as a whole, with the benefits. And now in the new game, it's like it's the other side of the same coin. But now it's like, what if such technology that can bring so much good promises, when it turns bad, if someone use it in a bad way, or technology doesn't work the way it was supposed to work, and something dramatic happens, how society is going to recover from that? How are we going to cope with a technology that is supposed to be beautiful, but now suddenly we see it as something very dangerous, as very scary, as something that should be limited or even eradicated. And that's the part of the theme that we're exploring in this game. And Adam Jensen is augmented, and when he's in the city of Prague or other places, a lot of people look at him like he's augmented, so they're kind of like fearful, or like you don't belong here kind of thing. And when he goes into some of the ghettos where there's poverty, they have problems with the developers and the drug that the augmented people need. There are a lot of shortage and stuff like that, and people are suffering. And Jensen doesn't need that. He's kind of special, and he gets in those places and he's all shiny with his cool-looking augmentations. And people look at him, even though they're on the same side. He's not on the same side. He's no, you're not like us. You don't have the same problem as us. Like you're paid by the government. Da, 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 da. So basically, Adam Jensen is a stranger in a strange land, no matter where he is.
In terms of like raw gameplay, like how much time can players assume to invest in the Mandkind Divided experience?
It's going to be a lengthy game, I think. When I look at the playtests, it's going to be very similar to what Human Revolution was. We have playtesters that when they play the game like super fast like that, the kind of players that don't explore, that just go and focus on the main missions like one after the other until they beat the game. I think the fastest players we had were about, they took about 18 hours to complete the game.
And that's just like main story, just going straight through?
Yeah. No side mission, no like exploring, finding all the secrets and everything. And we have like other players that we've seen that actually in one map they spend almost as much time as some guys did to complete the game. So it's really depending what kind of player you are, but if you're more like just on the straight story kind of path, 18 hours it's still quite beefy.
And then you're fast.
So yeah, exactly.
And also, like, finally, when will the game be released and for what platforms? And I'm hoping we don't see any like it will be like postponed, nothing like that. You feel finished with the game? It's
finished. We're debugging and polishing, and it's going to be released on August 23rd for Xbox One, PS4 and PC.
Och med det så tackar vi jättemycket härifrån Stockholm och Deus Ex Mandkind Divided som ni har sett fram emot i augusti. Tack för att ni har spanat in här på PowerGamer.se.